I am going to read to you on the Savage Nation, once again, something I started to read that was completely cut off by somebody, and I don't know where, but I'll find out where. I'm going to read you what Winston Churchill had to say about Islam in 1899. And if it doesn't go out on the air, I'm going off the air, and I will not come back on the air. How's that? Are you ready? Winston Churchill on Islam, written in 1899. How dreadful are the curses which Mohammedanism lays on its votaries. Besides the fanatical frenzy which is as dangerous in a man as hydrophobia in a dog, there is this fearful fatalistic apathy. The effects are apparent in many countries. Improvident habits, slovenly systems of agriculture, sluggish methods of commerce, and insecurity of property exist wherever the followers of the prophet rule or live. A degraded sensualism deprives this life of its grace and refinement, the next of its dignity and sanctity. The fact that in Mohammedan law every woman must belong to some man as his absolute property, either as a child, a wife, or a concubine, must delay the final extinction of slavery until the faith of Islam has ceased to be a great power among men. Individual Muslims may show splendid qualities, but the influence of the religion paralyzes the social development of those who follow it. No stronger retrograde force exists in the world. Far from being moribund, Mohammedanism is a militant and proselytizing faith. It has already spread throughout Central Africa, raising fearless warriors at every step. And were it not that Christianity is sheltered in the strong arms of science, modern Europe might fall as fell the civilization of ancient Rome. So wrote Winston Churchill in 1899. Now, I want to remind you that radical Islam is at war with everything you believe in. All of you liberals must understand that they would like to cut your throat or force you to worship their vision of God. They would like to turn your daughter into a slave. They like to turn your wife into chattel. They would like to forbid women from driving. They would perform abhorrent surgery upon women. That is what radical Islam does wherever it has taken power, unless it is stopped. Now, you may say, well, that's over there, not over here. You are wrong. There are mosques in this country that are teaching the same retrograde throwback views as that you find in the deepest reaches of Pakistan. And they are fighting you on three fronts at once. They are fighting you on the battlefields in Iraq and Afghanistan. They are fighting you through the media in America, which they own lock, stock, and barrel. And they are fighting you through the courts, where they're using the ACLU and groups that hate conservatives to undermine the rule of law and the rule of liberty. They have front groups all over the world. Some believe that CAIR, an Islamic supremacist group, which is trying to drive Savage off the radio, is a front group for radical Islam. Now, I've put on michaelsavage.com a anti-CAIR website in defense of the Constitution. And I'm going to read it to you. And you'll listen to some liberals, what they said when they still knew what was going on and were willing to say it. U.S. Senator Richard Durbin, CAIR is unusual in its extreme rhetoric and its associations with groups that are suspect. That's a Democrat, Durbin. Charles Schumer, good liberal from New York, says, we know CAIR has ties to terrorism, intimate links with Hamas. Senator Boxer, good liberal from California, to praise CAIR because they haven't been indicted is like somebody saying I'm not a crook. Now, these were said back in 2003. I don't know if they're still willing to say that. But the fact of the matter is, CAIR employees and its officials support terror. And if you doubt what I'm saying to you, go on to my website and look at the link to the anti-CAIR link that I have on there. And remember why I'm doing this. CAIR has attacked Michael Savage. They're sending letters to every one of my advertisers trying to drive this voice of freedom off the air. You have a choice, because tomorrow I'm going to read you the names of companies that have catered to this radical Islamic group and have dropped this show. And then I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the names of the companies that have increased their advertising on the show because of the attacks of this front group for Osama bin Laden. I'll be right back.